Brilliance Audio presents Hunt Them Down by Simon Gervais, performed by Bon Shaw. Chicago, one of the United States' largest interior cargo ports and the world's third-largest handler of shipping containers, had become a huge drug distribution center. With over 1 billion square feet of warehouse property, it offered the traffickers plenty of space to hide their products. "Are you nervous, Agent Hunt?" Moore asked. Hunt ignored him. The man was a real pain in the ass. "Agent Hunt, I asked if you were—" "Stop talking now or I'll tape your mouth shut," Hunt warned him. When the reporter didn't reply, he continued, "You stay in the truck. You don't move until I tell you to. Understood?" A quick look over his shoulder told Hunt the reporter wasn't used to being talked to like that. Still, the man nodded, which was the smart thing to do when flanked by 2 massive DEA special agents dressed in combat gear. There were 3 other agents in the Dodge Durango, and another 30 in 7 similar vehicles. Hunt knew them well and trusted them to do their jobs and to watch each other's backs. 6 snipers were already in position and had been trained on the target for the last 3 hours. Hunt checked on them one last time. "Sierra 1 from Alpha 1? Go ahead for Sierra 1. Sitrep, over. Sight is green. Traffic is light. No movement in and out of the building. The 2 panel vans are still parked in the open drive indoors. Sierra 2 is ready to cut the power on your order. 10-4, Sierra 1. The protocol for operations such as this required linking with city officials in order to turn off the power grid in the area. There were approvals to receive, board meetings to attend. But Hunt didn't trust anyone outside his team and his chain of command to keep their mouths shut, so he hadn't mentioned anything about cutting power in the operational plan he had submitted to the brass. They do it manually. He was more than happy to get a reprimand if straying from the plan kept his men safe. Built in the mid-50s, the warehouse was located on Lawrence Avenue and was made of reinforced concrete. It had 2 drive-in doors with 18-foot clearances, a total square footage of just under 25,000, 2 floors, and 2 6,000-pound capacity elevators. Hunt and his team had studied the blueprints and practiced their assault on a replica at their headquarters in Virginia. The warehouse's office occupied less than 5% of the total square footage, so they were confident that the 2 floors would be large open spaces and not a cluster of small individual storage rooms. That didn't mean it would be left undefended, hence the high number of RRT operators taking part in the raid. 1/4 ton of heroin, 226 kilograms, represented a significant amount of money. The wholesale price of a single kilogram was $60,000. Cutting the heroin with vitamin B and other substances provided enough powder to fill 25,000 single-dose envelopes that would be sold at $5 to street-level dealers, who in turn would sell them for between $10 and $15 to their customers. The DEA had done the math. Each kilo brought in a $70,000 profit to the mill operator. That's over $15 million in heroin. Hunt wasn't naive. To him and his men, $15 million was a fortune. But to the drug traffickers, it was nothing, and it tortured Hunt not being able to hurt the damn cartels. He had seen firsthand the devastation and misery hard drugs left in their wake when his younger brother Jake had overdosed on the stuff 15 years ago. Hunt might not be able to harm the cartels, but if his actions saved even just one life and spared a family the grief associated with the loss of one of their own, it was all worth it. "Sierra 1 from Alpha 1, Hunt said as the driver turned onto Lawrence Avenue. "Go for Sierra 1. We're 1 minute out." "Copy that, Alpha 1. You're 1 minute out. Standing by to cut power." With the exception of the 2 drive-in bays, a standard-size windowless door was the only entrance. Hunt had no doubt the traffickers had reinforced the strike plate and the door frame with a high-end deadbolt, so he had come prepared. A ram wouldn't do here, nor would a thermal option. He didn't want his 2 breachers to spend too much time exposed. Hunt was a fan of explosive breaching, and that was the method they'd be using today. One team would go through the door while his team would enter through one of the bays. With the power out, the simultaneous breaches would allow his team to deliver overwhelming force before any of the defenders could understand they'd been hit. That was the plan, anyway. But how often did anything go according to plan?